over the past couple days, I've been studying this 9-sided paradigm and construct called the Enneagram. And there's a famous spiritual Catholic writer that has written about this Enneagram. It's an ancient model, and it's been refurbished and reformed over the years to help develop an understanding in people of what their personality type is. Now, because I don't have a lot of time tonight, I can't go into depth. We did talk about it in depth for like 25 minutes on the radio if you were listening on the way out. But the Enneagram I found very fascinating because it kind of helps you to understand how God made you to be. Now, you got to get this. You need all 9 different types of the Enneagram to display the image of God to the world. When the Bible says you are made in the image of God, we're all manifesting and mirroring a different part of the image of God, and you need every type, every personality paradigm in the Enneagram to really give a full demonstration of who God is. So in the Enneagram personality model, again, this is a rough model, and you can't be a reductionist and say, oh, she's such a 4, or they're being such an 8. But it is kind of a good way to understand how God made you, because the Bible says you were curiously wrought in your mother's inward parts. When you were in your mother's womb, all of your days were written in God's book, and he made you fearfully and wonderfully with this personality type. They're all good. Every single type in the Enneagram are all good. They all have their like X-Men powers, superpowers, and they also all have their Achilles heels. So number 1 on the Enneagram are people who, and I think this is really fascinating, number 1 on the Enneagram are people who are reformers and perfectionists. They need everything to be perfect. Steve Jobs was a 1 on the Enneagram. They're the kind of people who you will like be loading the dishwasher, and they'll come up to you and they'll say, there's a much more efficient way to do this, and then they will rearrange the whole dishwasher. It's really annoying, but very effective. Number 2 on the Enneagram are those who need to be needed. It's the personality type of a helper. Somebody who's like Mother Teresa historically, they're there to serve. Like Martha in the Bible, they just want to serve. They just want to make you a meal. They just want to help. They need to be needed. Number 3 on the Enneagram is people who are driven to succeed. That's the personality type that I most identify with. They tend to be like workaholics, really driven. They need to accomplish things. The negative side of that is they're very selfish and they don't like to fail. And that's how I am. I'm very selfish and I hate failing. But I love this in history, the 3 in the Enneagram, people who are very driven, they have to succeed. Muhammad Ali, Oprah Winfrey, they tend to be 3s on the Enneagram. Number 4 on the Enneagram are people who feel things deeply. They're kind of the artists who create great art and then chop off their ear. They need to talk about their emotions. They need to work through their emotions. A good example of this in history was a Catholic writer named Thomas Merton, who wrote A Tale of 7 Mountains, who wrote Seeds of Contemplation. He felt things very deeply. He followed his heart and took his brain with him. He really developed both the brain and the heart killer combo. Number 5 on the Enneagram are the people who are observers, the analytical type. They don't like to be noticed. They like to sit in the back, and they have the X-Man superpower of invisibility. They kind of like to be invisible and just watch things. They like to observe. They tend to analyze as if through a glass. They're very thoughtful types. Number 6 on the Enneagram in this personality type model and construct makes up, researchers suggest, 50% of the population. So by far, the majority of people are 6. I'm talking about half the population are 6s, and these are the people who need security. They just need security, which I'm not making any political statement. Both politicians, both our candidates, are appealing to fears that threaten the populace's security so that they can make them feel safe. That's a very smart political move. Because 50% of the population tend to be the 6. They just want security. They just want safety. And that's really helped me. Compassion's embedded in the Enneagram. It's helped me not to look at the world and wonder, why are people going to 9-to-5 jobs, and why are they driving in their car? Where are they even going? Why are there buildings everywhere? I say, no, the 6s make the world run. If it wasn't for sixes, we'd all have people who are chopping off their ears, weeping over their emotions, and like Steve Jobs, driving everybody crazy. So the sixes make the world run. They just need security. The 7 on the Enneagram, I love this one. My mom, I was telling her, she is a 7. She's the biggest 7 I've ever met. The 7 in the Enneagram is the sunny personality. They're like, we are going to have fun. The meaning of life is to have fun. And the only thing that's more fun than what we're doing right now is the thing we plan to do next. It goes from ecstasy to hilarity. This sunny personality, they love to have fun. A good biblical example of this is Barnabas. He was a son of consolation. He just loved to encourage people and comfort people. I would say I'm trying to develop this 7 in me more. You can have like a 3 with a 7 wing. That's how I am. I think I'm naturally more of a 3. I'm trying to develop a little bit more the 7 wing, like sunny personality. Robin Williams, Stephen Colbert, they're just objective historical personalities who tend to align more with the 7s. The sunny personality. 8s are those who have a need to control their environment. 8s are the alpha male. We need more women 8s, people who are women who step up to lead. That's why I gave a woman girly greatness message last week. You can watch it on YouTube, because I'm really passionate about more women being like Deborah in jail, and Rahab and Esther and Ruth, and stepping up to lead like the prophetesses, the 4 virgin daughters of Philip. But society gets afraid when women choose to be 8s, when they step up to lead. A good example of an 8 historically, somebody who kind of needs to control their environment, alpha male type, is Donald Trump. Again, I'm not making a political statement, whether you like him or whether you're on the right or left wing. They're the alpha male, very like controlling type. Then you have 9, the final one on the Enneagram. The 9s are the peacemakers. They're like, you know what? I just want to go along to get along. Don't stir up the pot. Don't drop grenades. I just want us all to be friends. Those are the 9s. The Dalai Lama, for example, is a 9. John the Apostle was a 9, I would say. He would go into stadiums and his whole sermon would be, little children, love one another. And then he'd walk out of the stadium. They're like, that's it? It's like, yep, we just want peace. So be that as it may, maybe you identify with 1 or 2 of those personality types. And it's really helped me to say, you know what? I'm not going to be ashamed of how God made me to be. I'm going to really embrace this part of the image of God that I get to represent to the world. Now, here's the problem. Each one of those 9 personality types has their own respective fears. For example, 1s are afraid that their product will not be excellent. 2s are afraid that they won't be needed. 3s are afraid of failure. 4s are afraid that they'll never work through their emotions. 5s are afraid that they'll be seen. They don't want any information of them out there. 6s are afraid that they won't have security. 7s are afraid of tragedy and depression. 8s are afraid that they'll be controlled. And 9s are afraid that they won't have peace, but that there will be conflict. They're afraid of conflict. We all have our different fears. I know for me, I really deal with OCD. Like if I'm not succeeding, I have terrible OCD. Like really, I don't have OCD. I have CDO. It's like OCD, but the letters are in alphabetical order like they're supposed to be. But be that as it may, we all have these different fears that we have to deal with. I was teaching in Cottage Grove yesterday, and after the service, it was really cool. It was like in a park setting. And after the service, I'm talking to these people, and they each are coming up to me with different fears that they've been dealing with. And it's hitting me that really all of us, we have our own fears that we have to deal with. Now, here's my beef with OCD. I have really bad OCD. I'm one of the most OCD people that you'll ever meet. I'm trying to overcome that, and by God's grace, I believe I will. But here's the problem. I call it OCD, but that's not in the Bible. The Bible calls it fear. And what corporate profiteers, did you know this? Corporate profiteers and marketers, they will invent, this is a true story, they will invent a disease so they can sell you the remedy. They will invent a problem so they can advertise a solution to make money off of you. They will invent a disease and they'll sell you the cure so that they make money. And so I walk through life defining myself as somebody who has OCD when that's not how God defines me. The other day I was on a prayer walk and I feel like the Lord really spoke to me. I'm like, Lord, how do I overcome CDO? He's like, okay, Ben, here's how you overcome it. stop calling it OCD and start calling it by what it really is. What the Bible says it is fear. And that's how you've got to see it. So what we're going to talk about tonight biblically is we're going to talk about how we can overcome fear. No matter what number on the Enneagram you are, no matter what fear you have, we can overcome that fear. No matter what your personality type is, we have the power through God's grace to overcome fear. Ben Courson here. Thank you so much for watching my new YouTube channel. Make sure to smash that like and subscribe button, share this video with all your friends, and hit that bell so you're notified every time a new video comes out. May the hope be with you.